Hey everyone, it's Michael Goosebumps fan. I hope you're doing well today. I'm sorry I didn't have any uploads last week for you. I went out of town to Tennessee once again. You might have seen my comment on Zach Baby TV's video about him riding this awesome thing called I think it's the Alpine Coaster over in Tennessee. Anyway, I went to Tennessee for Labor Day weekend and had a good 4-day weekend there. Of course, I had Tuesday off as well. Decided to take an extra day off. So I had a nice day at my house, just enjoying time in and reading some books, watching some movies, some stuff like that, catching up a couple of shows like King of the Hill. It's one of my favorites. Anyway, so I did not read any Goosebumps books for the last 2 weeks, and then I got up today to go hang out with my mom and my grandfather, and I was like, you know what, before I go, I want to read a little bit of, the new Goosebumps book. I got it in the mail the other day, and that new book that I finished about 10 minutes ago only took about a couple hours to read. If I actually take my time and actually have some quiet, I can read a book real fast. That's not super common. I'm usually sleepy and tired, but yeah. So I'm going to talk about Goosebumps SlappyWorld number 15, the newest SlappyWorld Goosebumps release, Judy and the Beast. Yes, nicknamed after Beauty and the Beast. I gotta tell you, the previous book, 5th Grade Zombies, I recently reviewed that a week or two ago. It wasn't a week ago. I didn't read anything last week, but 2 or 3 weeks ago I reviewed one of the more recent releases, 5th Grade Zombies. It's a zombie book, and it was mostly decent, and then it kind of fell apart entirely with one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. My camera just went out of focus. Hey, you fix yourself. Judy and the Beast has an interesting cover. I don't love this, but it very much, from the title and everything, I think a lot of people who read my comments and who talked with me in different videos and stuff have said the same thing I said. This sounded like a Series 2000 book from back in the olden days of Goosebumps. And the title fits it, the storytelling kind of fits it, even though it's not super dark like a Series 2000 book, but it has kind of a mystery feel to it, and I like that. That was something different we haven't had in Goosebumps in a while, except for the previous book, 5th Grade Zombies. Kind of had a mystery thing going for it about what these things were, and some other oddities I don't want to talk about because it was dumb. And it's a spoiler-free review, so don't worry. Don't worry. Anyway, also, if you happen to hear music in the background, a couple of rednecks over a couple of houses decided they'd play Jason Aldean as loud as they possibly could. Because there's nothing that screams more redneck and wannabe redneck than, fake country music. Anyway, that was my little bit of shade throwing on a lot of different people. Anyway, I'm sorry I had to go there. It just bothers me, because why would you play it that loud? You know what I mean? Why? Anyway, stop it. So, Judy and the Beast. You have a girl named Judy, and she has an older brother named Ira, and her parents recently split up. Her mom went to live in England, I believe is what it said. Now, this is the thing. The dad and the older brother, Ira, typically go out to this place. It's like an abandoned not an abandoned, but it's like a castle out in the middle of nowhere type of thing that has a rich man named Baker, and I think his wife, maybe? I think it's his wife or a housemaid or something. Also a butler, some other people there, not too many. Maybe 3 or 4 people, something like that. Anyway, so the dad usually takes Ira out there. Ira's the older brother. Who names their son Ira? What? You're just asking for bullying. Anyway, so he takes his son Ira out to this place every year, every spring, when it's still snowing and it's very cold weather, and they usually leave Judy behind, our main character Judy. They leave her behind typically so she can stay with the babysitter that irritates her and bothers her. She can't really do anything. So this time around, Judy decides she's going to sneak into the back of the car when her dad and her brother don't know it, and she goes on the trip with them. They show up at this castle, mansion type of thing. It's kind of a cool setup for Goosebumps. I like when books like Frankenstein's Dog do setups like this. It's kind of interesting. But she shows up here. It's a big old house, different wings of the house. You've never seen a house with wings. Wings in the sense of north wing, west wing, all that stuff. And she's walking around in there, and she finds her own bedroom. Her dad gets his bedroom. Ira gets his bedroom. The dad and the brother are kind of pissed at first that Judy has shown up on this trip and not told them. But Judy starts to have issues around here. She likes to paint. One of the worst traits about Judy, now mind you, Goosebumps is kind of a scary book. This is not one of the more comedic entries, which I think could have benefited a little bit more from, but it has that mystery feel that feels good. It's kind of on the creepier side, not really scary, but creepy in some ways. Judy irritates me. I don't like her as a character, not because of her persona, but just there's this whole thing. You like to have little traits to characters when you're writing a book. And in her particular trait, when she gets scared or nervous or anxious, she whistles. And the worse that the situation might get, the more loud her whistling gets. So you can imagine how that went. You can imagine if you've read a Goosebumps book or ever seen any kind of movie ever, you can imagine how that went. Every time a bad situation happened or she gets nervous, she's whistling as loud as she can to give away her location. And of course, as the title mentions too, there is a possible beast, and her dad had warned her about this before she tried to sneak on the trip, and now she gets here, and people are kind of like, oh, we made that up so you wouldn't come along, and that may or may not be true. There may be an actual beast out there. There is something big out here. There's a lot of plot twists in the sense of Judy will think something's the beast and then it's not. And then she'll have this happen, or think this person could be like a werewolf type of thing. It's kind of like got a cool werewolf, wolfman type of story going for it. I dig that. I like that a lot, actually. It's one of the better pluses or positives to the book, I would say, overall in experience. I had a really good time reading the book. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't great. Just because I had a really good time doesn't mean I had a blast. But I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I had fun reading it. The mind games there were kind of fun. But I'll tell you this. I'm going to be honest with you, I predicted the ending of this book real fast. I think anybody with a brain could. Not if you're a kid. I mean, you don't have enough experience with storytelling except to probably really pick up on this. But if you're familiar with Goosebumps, if you're familiar with any kind of horror, mystery, who's the monster type of situation, you're going to guess this in no time. I promise you. Probably before half the book's over with, you're going to know. And then I guessed, like, the surprise twist ending, which actually I don't think sucked this time. Usually SlappyWorld books have terrible endings. I think the only one I have not seen suck, from what I remember off the top of my head, was, it was, I believe, of course, It's Alive, I love to death. But I believe Diary of a Dummy, from what I remember, I think the ending of that was really good too. I can't remember for sure, but I think I loved It's Alive, the whole book. I think I liked Diary of a Dummy's ending. I don't know for sure. I could be wrong. But I remember loving those two for the most part, or loving one, liking the other. Anyway, this one didn't have a terrible ending. It probably won't be like a success for everybody who reads it, all you folks out there who want to pick this book up. It wasn't like a huge, successful, wonderful ending, but it was interesting and it was fine. It fit for the story. I didn't have any issue with it. I like the explanation that's given for what's been happening. I actually thought that felt very classical Goosebumps. It feels like kind of an original 62 book, even though the title and the storytelling kind of come across as a Series 2000 book. Overall, I didn't hate the book, and that's a big old plus, and that's a good thing. You know, I'm glad I had a decent time with this book. I hope that you guys do too if you decide to pick it up sometime. Like I said, this is the brand new release. You could pick it up now probably anywhere. I got mine off Amazon. I pre-ordered this way back. This is the first ever Goosebumps book I've pre-ordered. Did I pre-order 5th Grade Zombies? I don't think I did. I think I ordered that because I'd forgotten it released. But anyway, I think this is the first one I ever pre-ordered, which is nice because it wasn't bad. And a lot of the SlappyWorld books, like I said, the endings are typically bad, but this one wasn't. And Slappy, of course, being a SlappyWorld series book, throughout the book he'll interject and make a little page-long comment about the story so far, or where the characters left off at a certain point. He makes a prologue and an epilogue introducing you and ending your story with Judy and the Beast. And that's kind of fun. You know, I like Slappy. I like when they do that. I always forget to mention that in most of my SlappyWorld reviews. Most of the time it's just kind of a bland whatever. Doesn't really matter that Slappy does that. Especially in his own stories that are about Slappy, specifically like Diary of a Dummy, Dummy versus the Mummy, or Mummy versus whatever that book's called. Anyway, Judy and the Beast. What did you guys think about SlappyWorld number 15? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Put your thoughts and comments down below, folks. I would love to hear what you have to say about this one. I want to thank you also for watching, by the way. This book, if I had to rate it on a 5-star basis, I think I would lean more towards a 3 out of 5 stars, but it's more like a good review. Like, I think a 3 out of 5 is a pretty decent rating for a book. You know what I mean? I think it's a pretty solid rating for it. This one fits, I think, mainly because I was interested in the whole story. It's not my favorite. It's not a great book, even. Great is what I'd give like a 4 out of 5. Wonderful, excellent, amazing would be a 5 out of 5, pretty much. And this one's good. It's good. It's a 3 out of 5 for me. I enjoyed it. I had a good time reading it. Read it in a day. That should speak volumes about this. If it's a bad book, which is very rare with Goosebumps for me, I'm a very easy please, basically. If it's a really bad book, it's hard and it takes me like a week to read it. But when it's a really solid one, I make time to read things. And this one was a really solid one. I'm glad I made out the time to read this today. My wife was decorating fall decorations around the house. You might be able to see that one orange pumpkin over there. I'm trying to angle my arm. Yeah, that orange pumpkin right there. She was decorating the house and stuff, so I was just sitting down and reading this. I had a good time. Fun memories. Cool little thing. It has so much snow in it, though. It should have been a really closer to December release. I know these are coming out like every 3 months, but still, a pretty good one. I am super stoked for the next one in the SlappyWorld series. That one's going to be SlappyWorld Slappy in Dreamland. That's the one I've been hinting at forever. I can't wait for that book to finally come out. That's going to be a real good one. A real good one, man. I hope it comes out soon. I'm really ready for that. I think it's coming out like March of next year. I don't know for sure, but anyway, 3 out of 5 stars for me. When it comes to Judy and the Beast, I hope you like it, guys. If you check it out, let me know what you think. I think this is a pretty solid one of the better SlappyWorld series books so far. Yeah, put your thoughts and comments down below. Let me know. Thank you for watching, guys. God bless you. Hope you're having a nice fall so far. I can't believe today is September 11th anniversary. That's bizarre. 20 years ago, man. Wow. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. God bless you today, and goodbye.